Shalom. Like to say all praises due unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of great millstone, of whom I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the hopeful members of the elect. My name's Kanawak from GMS Toronto. Doing a quick lesson, just regards to our salvation, which is coming upon the hopeful members of the elect. Right, which I hope to be and try to stay on the right path, because there's ups and downs in this truth, and we have to keep the course, keep the course and stay on the right track, man, and not to be fall off and into this world and stuff, because there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that we all face in this flesh, and so we want to stay on the right course. This is Isaiah 60 verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. So this is Yahweh Shai, this is Yahweh. All right, the Lord is all uppercase, the Lord, right, which is Yahweh. All right, and see how you could show you that. I could show you that. All right, for a lot of like younger brothers. All right, the Lord Yahweh. All right, so Jehovah. All right, but we know there was no J in the 17th century, right? All right, J is a new letter. All right, that was established during the 17th century. All right, it's actually established by the English. All right, and thus we have the J in that they have that term J. All right, but it's really Yahweh. All right, when you go back into the Hebrew. All right, so the existing one. All right, or he exists, the existing one. Yahweh, Yahweh. Okay, says arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen unto thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen to thee. Right, and right now this whole earth, is in nothing but in chaos, a whole bunch of things, man, that's going on, man, and it's just nasty, man, what's going on with this whole woman's liberation, this whole these alphabet people, the whole agenda, and there's war going on. All right, but but we know, like, what's going on with with Ukraine versus Russia and all that. All this just, it's all like all because that Ukraine was actually a communist state, right? During I think since in 1991, right, the USSR fell. All right, but but they changed their name to to Russia. All right, the Federal Republic of Russia. All right, and there's been a lot of wars brewing, and they built up a lot of their nuclear power, and their military, their arms, and like that's why in Ezekiel 38 and Ezekiel 39 about goes into the bear. All right, and and in the bear, Russia, they're coming down with serious power, man, and force, and you know, and it's already prophesied, in Ezekiel 38 and 39. We're living in these times, and I personally feel like within Lord's willing, like by next year or two, man, like this place is gonna be completely destroyed, man, because what's going on is serious, and anything's possible, man. With this tension in the air, and it's already been prophesied, man. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen unto thee, right? And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to thy brightness of the rising, right? So, like, this is when the Lord comes, right? All right. And the Gentiles are referring to the Israelite foreigners in this sense. Gentiles, when you go into the root word for Gentiles, right? It says Gentiles, which means Gawai, like Gawai, which means nation people, usually of non-Hebrew people, of descendants of Abraham, of Israel. All right, and this is referring to descendants of Abraham, of Israel. All right, when you go into that sense, right? So that's why we always have to be looking up words, even when we're on the street. We always have to, like now we have the internet, so it's more, everything's more fast paced, more accessible. When you could go on your phone, go on Blue Letter app or any other app, and you could look up certain words, in the scriptures, right? Like to have a proper sense, right? So the Gentiles referring to the Israelite foreigners. So, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the like brightness of the rising. Lift up thine eyes round about, and see all they gather themselves together. They come to thee, thy sons shall come from far, and the daughters shall be nursed at thy side, right? So we're gonna be, when anywhere our people are scattered. I think in Isaiah 11, could get that quick. Isaiah 11, like anywhere our people are scattered, because I think it's also in James, talks about James 1. It says like dispersed of Judah, or no, let me get James 1 quick, and then I get Isaiah. Salakia. Alright, James 1 verse 1. So James 1 verse 1. James, a servant of Yahweh, the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? And to them and to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings, right? So we're dispersed, we're scattered, right? You could look at the word scattered. Then I could go back into Isaiah 11, and then I'm going to go back to Isaiah 60. All right, scattered. All right, scattered. All right, so when you look at scattered, is diaspora.
Strong's G1290. Diaspora.
Scattered, dispersion of Israelites, dispersion among foreign nations. All right, so there's Israelites who's scattered, man, all over the earth, right? Whether America, Canada, our people, right? We're scattered. All right, Some of us were, some of us are first generation Canadian or American. Some of us are you know, some of our parents came from Jamaica or came from Latin America or whatever, Central America or the Caribbean, you know, and branched off. Some of our people are scattered in India, in Iran. Our people are scattered, man. The tribes are scattered, and especially Judah, man. All right, there's I think in India there's a people called the Siddhi. All right, so we're scattered, man. Let me get back to Isaiah 11. I think verse 11. Let me just get that quick. Isaiah 11 verse 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for the ensign of the people, right? And the root of Jesse is referring to the root of David, all right? And we know that, that the Lord comes out the loins of David, all right? Which shall stand for the ensign of thy people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious, right? So the Israelite foreigners, right? The Gentiles, right? That's why we're gonna go back into that word, the Gentiles, in Isaiah 10 and 10, Gentiles, right? Which is Gawai, right? Nation, people, non people, usually of non-Hebrew people, are descendant of Abraham, of Israel, right? And we know that this Gentile referring to the Israelite foreigners who are scattered, all right, in the diaspora, all right, and the Lord shall set his hand against and it shall come to, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for the ensign of the people. Let's look at the word ensign. All right, the Lord's gonna lift up that standard, right? Ensign, which is nas, all right, something lifted up, standard, signal pole, ensign, a banner, all right. Standard ruling, so that so the Lord's gonna lift up that standard, right? Like when the Father is gonna give, it's gonna give Yahweh Shai the green light, on that to come into this realm and and fulfill, actually fulfill this prophecy, man. All right, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. So this is going to be the second Exodus when the Lord comes. All right, this is going to be a Exodus 2.0. The Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt. All right, so our people over there in Iraq, in that region, and Egypt. All right, there's a lot of Israelites down there in Egypt too. All right, some of them, they're very fair, very light. Some of them are dark. All right, so we're scattered from Pathros, from Cush. All right, so over there, Ethiopia, and what's the next one? Ethiopia, Eritrea, stuff. The Israelite foreigners from Elam, or India again, and from Shinar, which is like Iraq region, and from Hamath and the isles of the sea. And he shall set an ensign for the nation, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So this is it's gonna be a big family reunion, man. On that when the Lord comes in, He's gonna set up, He's gonna set up the nation again, man, because we're looked down upon, you know, and like the historians know exactly who we are. When you go into certain like museums and stuff, like like when we went to the ROM, we went a couple times to the Royal Ontario Museum and stuff, and like they have a lot of our artifacts, and like I think when I went into the Greek section, I was looking at like Aristotle, some of the like the Greek sages, like prior to Alexander, all right, the like the sages were black, all right, they're dark, all right. So also our people over there in China too. I'm looking at some of the stuff over there in China, and they're very dark, woolly hair, afros, braids, and stuff, man. So they know exactly who we are, like the higher ups and stuff. They know exactly who we are, man. All right. So this is Isaiah 60 verse 4. Lift up thine eyes round about and see all they gather themselves together. They come to thee, thy sons and thy daughters from far. The daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see it and flow together, and thy heart shall fear and be enlarged, because of the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee, and the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. Yeah, so this is gonna be a whole wealth transfer, that when the Lord comes, like He's gonna have all these nations, like subjected, all right, and the Lord and his elect are gonna take all their substance, their resources, everything, and it's gonna be ours, right? World without end, man. All right, and you nations are gonna be subject unto the Israelites, man. All right, and that's why I'm gonna go more, but I want to get Isaiah 61 as well. Isaiah 61 verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. All right, He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captive, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, right? And yeah, our people right now, we're bound, right? Some of our people are in prison. Some of us are like prisoners to our mind. All right, so we're but that we have the word, that actually gives us hope and victory, to until that everything that we're reading is gonna be accomplished, like when like basically like when the Lord comes, and will like He will gather His elect, so the meek, all right, and we're supposed to be meek, man. Like we're not supposed to be proud and all that, all right, because it doesn't make sense to be in a nigger and then be proud and talking nonsense, like to your brother. And so we have to just be meek and stay on the path, man. All right, so meek, which is ana, poor, humble, afflict, meek, poor. Yeah, we're all poor. We're all afflicted, man. Poor, weak, afflicted, humble, lowly, meek. All right. It said to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our power, to come all that mourn, right? And right now, we're mourning, man. Like we've been mourning from all these captivities, that we've been under. All right, from from like when you even go into the book of Judges, all right, the kings of Judah and of Israel and all that stuff. And then when you go into when the fall of like when we're like we're in captivity under all these nations, right? From Babylon, all right, from the Medes and the Persians, all right, the Greeks and Roman Empire, all right. Now we're in the new Roman Empire, the modern day Roman Empire, or the reincarnated Roman Empire. So it's like we've been under all these captivities and stuff, right? But but only the elect, all right, is mourning and actually being comforted, right? Because because the 2/3 of our people, are like 2/3 of our people are lost, man. Like they're in a daze, like they're in a stupor, man. All right, so the Lord's only gonna be coming back for His elect, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto the beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that His might be glorified, right? And that's what we're waiting for, man, because we're hoping to be of the first fruits, like from the beginning, all right. And yeah, that's what we're hoping, right? Because the Most High knows, Yahweh Shai knows, all right, the angels know, right? So we're hoping to be of the first fruits, all right, and actually like be risen up and to be the first fruits, man. From the, like when you go into Genesis about the sons of God and all that, like that's us, right? All right, the powers or the God and all that, which is referring to us, man. All right, the first fruits, right? I was gonna go more in depth, but you could go into Isaiah 60, Isaiah 61, Isaiah 11, and yeah, we're living in these times, man. So with that, let's say all praise is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yashai, Ba'ashem Kodash, and Shalom to the hopeful members of the elect. Shalom.